March 3rd. Sunday, 1878. Lord Richard Gilmore approached me about a business opportunity involving Jean-Paul. He told me that he finds my son to be quite a handsome and endearingly charming young boy, and would like to have privacy with him. I have agreed to this request and hope to make arrangements for the two of them to be alone together in Jean-Paul's room. I personally find this very revolting. But then again, I did let the same thing happen to Heidi, did I not? I will never understand the taste for undeveloped humans. Children are almost always intolerable, and there's no sexual appeal to them whatsoever. Though he is not paying me for my opinion, so all I have to say on the matter is in here instead. March 6th, Wednesday, 1878. Charlotte came into my study once again today, which is definitely not an uncommon occurrence anymore. But this time, it seems like she was ready for a business proposition. Charlotte pulled up a seat to my desk, removing the cushion from the wood and then standing up on it, in resemblance of reaching my height, I suppose. She then finally spoke after making her stature.
Vata, I would like for you to make sure Jean-Paul isn't hurt again. He hasn't spoken a word since Lord Gilmore visited him on Saturday, but when I saw him the next hour, he was sobbing his eyes out. Please keep Lord Gilmore away from Jean-Paul.
I tried to speak, but she hurriedly continued, as though she knew I was going to deny her request, and had more to add in attempts to further push her argument.
Please, Vata. I'll even take his place.
I snickered at the silly idea. Foolish and naive child doesn't even know what she's asking at this point. I answered her plea partially with jest. Well, Charlotte, you aren't really his type. Lord Gilmore is only interested in young boys, which you are not, mein kleines Mädchen.
Well, then I can be a boy. I can cut my hair and wear trousers. I'll be a boy. Just make him leave Jean-Paul alone.
Sorry, but it doesn't work that way, my dear girl. Lord Gilmore has made a business arrangement with me, and it would be awfully rude if I just broke it off.
This is not a brothel, Vata.
I'd been taken aback at first. I was astounded that this 9-year-old human girl was able to fathom such concepts already. What made it all the more peculiar, she was using it rather properly.
Jean-Paul is my big brother and your son. This is his home and we're his family. He should be feeling safe here.
I am not in a position to make any promises, my chat, but I will remember what you've said to me here today.
But you're not going to do anything about it, are you? Just like Heidi and Mare. Am I not a product because I am broken?
No more, Charlotte. You aren't quite able to fathom what it is that we are talking about. So no more. Though I am starting to feel like she actually could understand this concept quite well, and that I truly have no idea just how intelligent and aware my youngest child is. After the conversation, Charlotte's mood was out of sorts, and she spent the rest of her time in my office with her head down whilst constantly sighing. March 10th, Sunday, 1878. Dick wanted to be alone with Jean-Paul again. Seems he has taken quite a fancy to the boy. I told him it would cost more, as a means to discourage this man, but he willingly paid it. He handed me the sum and I simply responded, "All right, seems like this is satisfactory. I'll let you be alone with him again." But as this transpired, I turned to see Charlotte beelining it for her brother's room. I was a bit taken aback at first and found myself thinking, "Charlotte, what is she doing?" The little girl ran inside and slammed the door behind her, followed by Jean-Paul's voice echoing,
"Charlie, what are you doing in my room?"
I trailed after and listened in. I heard the girl respond to the boy with,
Lord Gilmore's here again. He's coming here right now.
What? Get out before he hurts you too.
but he was cut off by the sounds of skidding on his floor.
Charlotte, what are you doing?
Help me barricade the door.
Though it sounded as though the boy did nothing to help.
Come on.
Her voice was a little more distant this time, as though she had moved further into the room.
What are we doing now?
To your water closet.
There was the sound of hurried footsteps moving away, followed by a door slamming shut. I began to knock on the bedroom door as I demanded,
"Charlotte, you open this door and come out of this room this second."
1 moment, Vata.
Muffled by distance and walls, I heard Jean-Paul exclaim.
Now what are you doing?
Using the shadows around him, I looked inside the room to see what the children were doing. My little girl had begun stripping her garments and had her arms outstretched to her brother with other clothes in her grasp.
Quickly, Jean-Paul, put on these old clothes I got from Heidi's room and be a girl. I'll put on yours and be a boy. Lord Gilmore only wants boys, so it's best that you're not one right now.
Charlotte was now only in her bloomers and camisole, now reaching for some of Jean-Paul's unoccupied trousers.
Char-
He tried to speak, but was interrupted.
No more dilly-dally, come on now.
The little one put a bow in her brother's hair, and he just shook his head in disbelief.
Just stop. Stop it. It doesn't work that way, and I don't want you getting involved. You're just being a silly little girl with silly ideas. None of it will work out the way you want it to.
Yes, it can.
I actually could not feel as though I could be upset with her right in that moment. For a young human, she was actually being smart, resourceful, and oh so valiant. I felt impressed. I turned to my guest and handed back his fee as I said, "Here, you can have your money back. You're certainly not going to have him today and probably not ever again. So he's officially off limits." Dick gave me a look of absolute puzzlement as he responded.
Does this happen often? I thought Charlotte was calm and obedient.
She is, but I guess today she is Charles, and he is brash and protective. Suddenly there was skizzing sounds again, accompanied by the worried calls of Jean-Paul from afar. My youngest child exited the room dressed in boy's clothes, and looked up at me with such a pitiful expression. Charlotte began to speak.
I came out like you asked.
Ah, Charles is obedient after all. I looked over at the man behind me. What are you still waiting around for? You can take your leave. I have matters to discuss with my child. Dick huffed in confusion, but did as he was told. I gave a light scolding to Charlotte and then told her to change out of the baggy clothes.